Hey, welcome back to another episode of In Between Time. I'm your host, Don Primo. You already know what to do. Go hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Hit that notification bell for you to stay up to date because you know this is In Between Time. It can happen anytime, any place. And right now we got a special guest, brand extraordinaire, entrepreneur. Why the brand? What's up with you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm good. A little
That's
nervous,
good. That's
but I'm
good.
okay.
Oh man, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. It's a good show, nice convo, good folks and everything like that. We're here to support the people. Make your voice heard and whatnot. You're an independent business owner, and we're not just here for independent artists. We're just here for independence in general. That's why we brought you on the show.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, introduce yourself. Let the people know a little bit about you.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Renisha Smith. I am the owner of Why the Brand. I am also a freelance photographer in Los Angeles, California. I have been doing both businesses for about a few years before COVID and going to school and learning all these different things. And I kind of just pursued into this realm. And I'm kind of just excited where it's going to take me. I'm still new, so I'm still trying to understand, but I'm excited for the most part.
Okay, okay, that's what's up. So you say you started like around 2018, like near the pandemic, close to the pandemic and whatnot. How was that?
Yeah, initially, the business initially was put into session around 2017, but then due to health issues I was having, I ended up not starting to put it out there or start selling or putting anything merch out there until fall of 2018.
Okay, okay, okay. And how did that did was it since you started in the pandemic, you kind of like already started like on the online type of deal and all that. You think that's better or than having like a storefront?
Honestly, I'm still trying to understand the online marketing, so I'm not that great at it. It's giving me. I'm getting in motion, but I've been doing a lot better in person because right when the pandemic started slowing down a little bit and they started allowing people to go out to do events, that's when I was starting to do pop up events. And I had a storefront at one point in my local area and in the swap meet area. And that's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
how I was getting out there was a lot of pop up events and going to a lot of different events and just getting my merch out there and getting exposure and everything.
Okay. Do you feel like that in person? Because that's where I met you at. I met you guys at the fairgrounds when you guys did the little show at the showcase when the fair was going on.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
do you feel it's more like more impersonal when you're like oh, this is the website. I don't know if y'all can see it right there. Go check them out. Why the brand? We're gonna have that on the screen a little bit while we chopping it up. So y'all look at that. Check out some of the stuff. But do you feel that's a little bit more better than the online, because you get that more personal feel. You could kind of feel a person out or something like that.
Yeah, I enjoy in-person interaction. I like being able to tell people about it because I always I get to see their first glance and I can see when they're curious. I'm like, so what does that mean? And then I get to introduce the brand. I get to tell them a little more about it, the stories behind it or the inspiration behind it. And I think that's what I like about it. They'll let me at least get to tell them. That's what kind of gets me to encourage them to look into it more because the interaction you know
You,
so online can only do so much, I've learned.
yeah, yeah. No, no, that's real. You could definitely read, like, especially you trying to do sales. You're a photographer too as well. I noticed in there too, like your shots are like dope as hell too. We got some
Thank
dope stuff
you.
on here, man. Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. We might
it's
have to do a
me merch.
collab on some merch or something, man.
Hey, you have to. I'm
Yeah,
excited
brand
for all of
network out there. Heyday. What's
that.
Heyday? Is that tree right there? Is that what I think it is?
It's not what it is. That's what I think would get people with that one. It's really not. I can literally show you the picture it was. It was like a little tree, but a regular tree, not the tree, but a regular tree.
Okay, okay. Not the
Um,
tree, but it is a tree.
yes, it is a tree.
That's
Heyday is
dope.
a
That's
real
dope.
word, and it stands for being in the prime of your life when money
Okay,
and
okay.
growth intertwine.
Okay, okay. That's a dope concept. What pulled you into? Was it the photography first, or was it the fashion first that pulled you into where you're at now?
It was the photography first. I've always been
Okay.
art savvy, and then growing up, I ended up getting into photography. I went to school for it, and that's where I kind of led into it. After I first graduated with my associates, that's when I really wanted to get into the fashion world. I love the fashion photography and all the concepts and the story behind, like stories into creating the photo shoots and everything. That's really what
Mm-hmm.
got me into it. And then after that, I was kind of led into the clothing line due to a relationship I had. He wanted to
Okay.
do a clothing line, and his ideas were really good, but it was kind of limited. So I ended up kind of branching out ideas, and that's kind of where that and why the brand came into play, bouncing off of his ideas. But then it wasn't no longer what he wanted, and that's kind of how it
Yeah.
ended up being why the brand.
Okay. So, is he still doing his clothing line?
He's actually going to start a new one. He didn't fully pursue that one, but he's actually going to start
Okay.
a new one based on a brand, like branding himself.
Okay. Okay. So
So that's how he,
the brand outgrew the relationship.
not really, it was more like, it was just more like he had his vision, but he understood where I was coming from to why I thought to go this route
Mm-hmm.
when it came down to design and inspiration and make giving the design, giving the clothing brand a purpose.
Yeah.
That's why he understood. And then which also pursued him to be able to want to do his own thing in
Okay.
his own way.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. So you say you went to school too for fashion, or did I hear that right?
I went to school for photography. I went to a whole art
Okay.
school though.
Okay. Okay. What art school is that? Get him a shout out.
It was the artist. It was well, they're closed now, but that location is closed. But the school is Art Institute in North Hollywood.
Oh,
Those
okay.
yeah, Art Institute. They have them all throughout the country and stuff. But the one I went to is closed down now.
So were you trying to pursue already photography as a young kid and everything like that, or was it just something you picked on as like I think this is dope and I want to try to pursue it as a career or a passion?
I pursued it in my sophomore year of high school. Had it as
Yeah.
a class. And then that's kind of where I ended up wanting to go to school for it. So that's when I ended up going to school for it and right out of high
Mm-hmm.
school. And then I went for my associates, then I graduated, and that's what led me into fashions. And then I went back to school to get my bachelor's to learn more about it and stuff. And that's kind of where I learned how to build my concept of wrapping it around my photography and my clothing line. And then also with learning all the different skills I learned with the web design, and I learned all these little basic skills to kind of help me build this brand, honestly.
Yeah. So all that you just more had to pick up on the way of just like, oh, this is what I want to do. I see, figure out how to do it and just go for it.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
the
good.
clothing line was kind of abrupt experience, but it was easily, I was able to easily gravitate into it because all the skills I learned in school, I was able to kind of jump right in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like going on with photography is kind of like fashion goes hand in hand with it, kind of right.
Hmm.
Were you like,
Especially because I was trying to get into fashion.
were you guys like, when you were going to school, were you guys working with like a lot of brands and whatnot at that time?
No, I wasn't. We didn't really get a chance to see a lot of brands, but we got to see a lot of the fashion department of the school and see their creations, what they really were inspired by, and how they put together stuff. I actually knew a guy who actually has his own clothing line. He went to school to learn how to sew all his merch together and create his merch from scratch and everything. And then his company
Okay,
is called Band Runners Clothing out in
okay,
LA.
All right. And damn, sketching. I mean, like stitching it all, like from scratch and everything.
He learned, yeah, he learned everything. He learned how to sew from scratch and all that. Went to school just specifically to build his brand that he
Okay.
already was starting with his music.
So is that like different levels in like the fashion game? Like, so what would you be doing? Are you doing like print, like just printing and everything like that, design and print?
Yeah, I'm more of I go out to LA because I live in the suburbs of LA. So I go out
Okay.
to LA, I go hand pick all the pieces I want specifically. I go shop for pieces specifically. And then I go to a manufacturer and they're the ones who do the prints for me. I create the designs myself and then I get those going for what and I just kind of get that prepared and then I go out to the manufacturers and say, "Hey, this is what I want." And they get it ready for me. It takes about 2 weeks to get things ready, depending on
Hmm.
their workload and everything. But and then that's kind of how it goes for that.
So what would you call he was doing? Is that like just from like is that like from scratch type of like more designer type when you're stitching it and everything like that?
Yeah, his was half and half because he did a few just like where he got his own pieces and got it printed, and then there were some specific designer pieces he would create where it would be like denim jackets combined with certain materials and stuff like that's where certain pieces were designer and certain pieces
Hmm.
was just like what I was doing.
Oh, okay, okay. Is the fashion world is it a lot of like is it friendly or is it like a lot of cutthroat? Is it like more like I guess any other business like the hip hop game? Is it a lot of beefs and everything like that?
It's a lot of competition per
Uh
se
huh.
because people are coming out with clothing lines just about anything as if it's just a good get rich quick scheme. That's why
Yeah.
it becomes a little harder because there's people who will just sell stuff for $5, $10 and don't put any effort into the clothing material, the design, nothing. They just say, "Hey, I put this word on there, buy it." And that's kind of what we're going against. But that's I think it's with
Yeah.
all businesses, like even photography's like that, where there's people
Yeah.
who just say, "Hey, I'm gonna grab a camera and let's go." It's I
Yeah.
think it's all kind of the same level of dog eat dog world, and people just kind of out for themselves at that point, and just whoever
Okay.
makes it,
Okay.
whoever makes it.
Yeah, I know it's like I heard a lot of horror stories about like some of these online fashion boutiques and whatnot. Like they're either scamming people, not sending the products, or things of that nature. Did you have to get out? I guess build people's trust with that in those like just with the online and just people trusting you and whatnot.
Yeah, I think so, just a little bit, but I didn't have to do too much in that retrospect because I did a lot of pop-up events and a lot of
Hmm.
outdoor exposure and I would post I'm outdoors. People see me out there, they see the product, it's real. They can see it on like in the photos that it's not just online somebody's posing in it like you actually see that there's merch somewhere. They know
Yeah.
I feel like that built the trust. Like, hey, okay, hey, she's real. This
Yeah,
business is real.
that's
They're
a
not
big part. Like
scamming
you are a
me.
physical person. We can reach out. We
Yeah,
can holler at you. You're not gonna just disappear on us. That's
exactly.
yeah. The
That's
internet's got real because like you say, a lot of people are just now. I'm just gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start doing fashion. I'm gonna start doing photography. I'm gonna start doing producing out of just because of the ease, the accessibility of it. Just because it's so easy. You think that's a gift and a curse too? Of just the game just because it's so easy for a person just to pop up a boutique or a fashion line and you're putting your time, you're putting this, you're actually hitting the pavement with it. Does that make it harder for you?
it does. It honestly does. Because some people do it just because they have connections. Some people just do it because it is the easier way out. And or it's an attempted easier way out. I've learned
Yeah.
during COVID, there were so many people trying to bring out do a clothing line during COVID.
Yeah.
Like where I would normally get all my pieces and stuff, it was crowded constantly for weeks. I couldn't even go buy my pieces comfortably anymore because they were always
Yeah.
selling out so quickly because everybody was just trying to do it. And then
Mm.
now, since COVID's over, everybody's getting back to their work and everything. They say production slowed down again. It went back to
Yeah,
its normal pace. I'm like, okay, so it kind of weaned out who thought it was going to be easy to get rich quick right now. So it
yeah,
is a little bit about it's a little bit of work, but
yeah.
people
A lot of
who
people
are
was
meant to
getting.
do it,
No, go ahead.
people who are meant to do it will be around
No,
and will still
definitely,
be around.
definitely. They're definitely gonna, the real's gonna recognize the real. A lot like during the pandemic, a lot of people was getting a lot of extra money, so they thought they wanted to do this, or they thought how easy people like to see people do things and they think it's easy. Like they've probably seen you or seen somebody else at a pop up or online selling their stuff, and then they'll be like, "Well, shit, I can do that, and I can, I'm nice, I can, I got some creative designs," but not knowing like all the work you have to go into it. First you got to go get the stuff, then you got to go make it, then you got to go do this, you got to do that. It's then you got to sell it, then hopefully somebody gonna buy it. That's the
And
real part.
that's only a quarter of the production. That's the crazy
Yeah.
part. You named a
Yeah,
quarter of it. That's not the whole thing. You got to go
man.
back into advertisement, photography, freaking creating the website, updating the website, social media, especially social media. That's killing me.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man, you got to stay on that. The social media is just a job in itself. I can see why people that promote on social media they get the money they do because it's a full time job. Like I say, with just updating stuff, keep staying up to date. On all those processes. How do you think you cope with that? Just in today's promotion landscape. Is there any ways to get easier about it, or it's just always going to be a grind?
No, it's always going to be, there's no consistent way because social media is always changing. Content creation is always changing. I think I can create the content to an extent, like the photos, I have that hands down. But
Yeah.
creating relatable content, like leading into TikTok, that's been a little different, especially when I've been told I got to put myself more into it or at least be more interactive and get people to see the
Yeah.
process more now. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna try something new.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Yeah.
I think that's really what's been getting me. Is just it's but it's always changing. That's what makes it kind of you're never gonna be able to settle with the routine. It's gonna always change and it's gonna always keep adjusting.
Always,
Yeah.
always. So, along with branding, why the brand? Can you explain the meaning and the history behind that?
So the Y stands for Yeshua or Yahweh the brand. It was initially produced as a God-based brand, and it still is a God-based brand. But now I've kind of added more morality and key words and key meanings behind it that either subliminal to God or just subliminal to morality. Just
Hmm.
make it purposeful. I wanted to have a clothing line that had a purpose behind it. I didn't want to just be another set of clothing, but I also wanted to go based on what's trending right now, what's really catching people's attention, and really just putting out a message out there along with it, to be honest.
That's dope. And with that, is it more personal because it's like faith based, God based? Is it more personal than just the business for you?
It is. It really is the personal. That's why I really enjoy going to pop-ups and events because explaining my background with it to the people really helps me feel like I'm spreading the word of God. And because
Hmm.
regardless if I don't have a specific religion falling in line with it, I'm 100% believing in God. And my spirituality has grown through this business, and I've learned so much in general because of it, and it's built my relationship in general. And I would just want to help build relationships with other people within God and their how to help their life. Whether I get to just speak to them and they get to speak to me, because I've met so many people that have given me so much words of wisdom and vice versa. And I think that's what I really loved about this brand. It gives us a reason to talk about it.
That's dope. Amen to that, man. For real, man. And that's dope that you have that personal connection and you're reaching out with, people with your faith. Is that more of your base of market too as well? Or it's still open to everybody, but you're recognizing that it is a God based and faith based business.
Honestly, my target is everyone willing to learn more. It's
Okay.
not just about Christianity. It's not about people who only believe in God. It's about anybody wanting no more. There's so many people who aren't religious, but they believe in a higher power. So
Yeah.
why not believe in God? Let's talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, and I'm also interested in the targeting of people who want to start a trend, who want to be a leader in their own way, who want to get on the bandwagon and help spread the word with me in this trending attire. Like, I've tried to make it to where it's relatable to
Mm.
everybody, not just me, not just Christians, not just anybody who believes in
Mm.
God, but anybody. It's a bigger
Okay.
picture. I don't want it
Uh,
to be sectioned off specifically.
I like that. I like that. A lot of products or businesses, brands, and then everything that do go in that type of lane. It seems like they. I'm not going to say edge themselves out, but they know their market and they know who they want to hit. With you're saying I'm open to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Are you open
Mhm.
to doing business with most companies too as well?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So you're open up to everybody, but the bottom line of it is this is my beliefs with my business. I like that.
Hmm.
That's nice.
Thank
Was that hard at first when you told people that? Did they like kind of like I don't know about that? Maybe because like you say with religion and faith based businesses, they tend to lean into one way. Did people kind of be like, nah, you could either got to go one way or the other?
Honestly, it was easier for me to gravitate into it because I let the clothes stand out first. I
Mm,
let the clothes do its part by catching the attention. Once I've caught your attention, now we can get into the words of wisdom. Let's get into the word of God a little bit.
okay,
I don't try to bury people into it. I just try to give them just what they ask for. So if they say,
that's
"What does
dope.
this mean? What does design is?" I try to keep it brief because you don't want to
Hmm.
overwhelm people. You don't want to scare people off. You don't want to turn them off from just because if they aren't for sure if that's what they like or they don't like or if what their beliefs are. You just kind of it's more of just the open door to want to know. Really and truly. That's
That's
all I really want. That's why it wasn't hard personally.
that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So with that being said, so what other pop ups and everything? What other events have you done? Any like type of fashion weeks or anything like that? Fashion festivals or looking
I
into
was
doing
supposed
anything like that?
I really wanted to get into some fashion shows. I was supposed to do one the year that COVID actually hit. I was supposed to work with the Movement LA out in
Hmm.
fashion for Fashion Week that year. And then
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to do it but because of COVID. And then but I did get a chance to go and be media coverage for them this past year for a few others. And I've
Okay.
been to a few fashion shows just to see to get an idea of how I want to do for if I want to be involved in a fashion show in the next coming year. And then
How
I've
you?
done a few
Oh,
events out in LA, like off of Lamar Park, and I did some fashion not fashion pop-ups. I've done some pop-up events out in Gardena and Long Beach and all throughout LA. I've been going traveling and doing a lot of them, these pop-ups, just to get exposure and get my clothes out there. And then some were good, some were okay, but the exposure was always there, and that's what I was always excited about.
are you looking into doing your like one of your own like pop up like your own fashion show, fashion like music type of just whole just event? Are you looking into like having one of those, or have you had one of those
I
yet?
mean, in due time, when I can build my audience a little bit better, then I probably would. I've only done like my own single pop-ups by myself where I pulled up in my local area and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be here. Come show up for your girl and buy some merch." And that was successful. And I did it when I first started out here when COVID just slowed down. And then honestly, I've just been doing other pop-ups elsewhere. But when I get more build up my audience, then I would probably pursue into doing my own fashion week. There was another clothing company out here that just did one, and that did inspire me to want to do one in the future. So I'm
Okay,
excited.
okay. What do you think about like that crazy ass like high fashion type of? type of stuff. Like, people like wearing like chandeliers on their head and shit like that, of that nature and all that. What do you what are you going into that? Is that it? Do you? Let me ask you. Do you consider that fashion? Because every time I talk
Honestly,
about that with fashion people, they always be like, "You just don't understand."
I guess I don't understand either. Because honestly, the only I can say is just it's an art aesthetic. Fashion is just another source of art. So some people kind of express it however they see fit. Maybe they had a whole theme and that's what they were basing it around of. That's the only thing I can get to it, and that's only from a photographer standpoint. Me looking at, I'm like, I wouldn't wear that? Why is that here? And you never
Okay,
see any of those clothes outdoors after they do the fashion show. So I'm like, so what is the purpose behind this now?
I'm s-
So
I'm
I'm just like,
saying though.
okay.
So something like this. Hold on. Let's see. So, and what and where would you wear that at? When you look like a little tin plate, a table, chandelier, silhouette type of thing. Where would they expect you to wear something like that?
I don't think
And
they
bro,
do, to be honest.
and
Have you
bro got the
ever?
leather
I've
jacket.
never seen anybody. Because I've never seen anybody actually wear the clothes after these fashion shows.
Yeah.
Outdoors, I should say. You never see
Uh,
them. Maybe in another photo shoot, but that's it. I've never truly seen those work like those pieces ever make it outward. Some of them, like when you do casual fashion like that, then yeah, you can see that. But I think the art, I
yeah.
think the other ones are just art
Oh,
aesthetics. Oh Jesus.
she took a little took a little spell. Look at bro. He just like he you ain't breaking stride. He said that's her problem.
He
Said
said
she better
that's
be
not
all
me.
right.
It's okay. No, she just fell right
Yeah.
in.
Oh man.
Oh, what the hell was that? Is
It's a
that a
cat.
cat? Oh,
Yeah. Cat like he cat walking. Yeah, man.
I
Every
feel like
time I
that was
see like
intentional for sure.
these fashion show type of things, it's just it's like you say, where do you see you're never going to see these things again. You know, you're never going to be
Mhm.
like, and every time I always get the thing where it'd be like you just don't know fashion. Like you get trash can hit. Oh, she looks scary. She was rocking, and that's a bag. That's a whole pull on somebody, and they trying to probably charge like 3,500 for that. That is crazy. That is
I
crazy,
don't.
man. Let me get up out of that. Yeah, yeah. It's that's why I always ask because you're a fashion person. Always wanted to ask a person like, what is high fashion? Is it subjective? I guess you were saying.
High fashion seems more of an art aesthetic, really and
Yeah,
truly. If you ever just sat there and look at some of these magazines, it's just display to catch attention, to catch awareness, to want to tell a story in an art way, just like art pieces. You some art pieces you don't understand, but they're sold for 50,000, a million, whatever they want to be. I think it's
yeah.
just another source of art. I really
Okay.
do at this point. It's not
Yeah.
something always wearable. It's just something to look at and
Okay.
admire. There we go. Something to admire.
Speaking of high art, fashion, and just in that world, that realm, I couldn't let you leave without asking you about Kanye. He is you're a fashion entrepreneur. He's in the fashion world, and he just went through his little thing. I know Kanye is Kanye, but what do you think about like the way just the whole fashion, I ain't gonna say turned on him, but like they're trying, I ain't gonna say taking his things, they already took him, the designs and all that. Kicked him out for saying what he said or whatever he's going through. And but you think it's right for a company to still use your designs without the person there or approval or anything like that? Or is that even, can you still do that?
Honestly, they're so much more updated since that. The fact that it sounds like Kanye did it on purpose to get out
Yeah.
of said contract and then on top of that, they can't even use his designs at this point because they don't want to pay him. Now, because of
Mm,
the contract they made with him, they're gonna have to give him royalties if they use any of his designs, regardless if he's part of it anymore or not. So because of that,
mm.
there is still a lose-lose situation because if they sell the stuff, he's getting royalties.
Yeah. Do you
So
think, and
honestly,
even at the, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he could have did that intentionally just to get out their contract, but to still get paid. If not, you're just not going to get paid. With you just got all his merch and his designs for nothing.
Yeah,
It's going to have to go somewhere
it is.
if you're not going to put it out there. So I think because what I've learned in this industry is the fact that everybody copies everybody in the fashion industry. That's why you got to make yourself stand out. Even if it's the
Mm,
same thing, trying to sell the same hoodie, trying to sell a beanie, trying to sell a hat. You got to make it your own so everybody remembers who you are and
yeah,
remembers your name. And that's really
yeah.
what it is. And that's the fact. Kanye's name is remembered and is
Hmm.
noticeable. And he just did something else that made it more memorable, and he has all his support already. So it doesn't matter if Adidas does that to him. He has
Yeah,
made a name through different platforms that's going to keep him going regardless. And that's what fashion is. That's what photography is. Everybody is. You just make your name and hold it. Hold on to it.
yeah. Well, do you think it's impossible for a black creator, black fashion person to like build something from like the ground up, like how, and then build it like to how like a Gucci? I know Gucci's been around for years, decades, and all that, but eventually getting to like a Gucci type of status, or is it just what we make it? You know, do you think a black designer can get to that point?
Well, Virgil Blow did, but a
But
lot of
with
it
his,
is good.
I mean, but more of his. I mean, he had his own, the off white and everything, but more like he still went to what worked for Louis Vuitton.
But he really made a name for himself. That's what got him with Louis Vuitton and everybody else, and everybody wanted to collaborate him. His first few designs did it. And he actually had, before Off White, he had another brand that actually did great. And then he turned that brand into Off White. He used
Mm,
that platform and turned it into Off White. So he still made it successful with what he was trying to go for. And then he got more successful by the connections he's built over time. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to black entrepreneurship is the connections, because a lot of times a lot of these places won't give you a chance just because we're black.
mm,
So because of that, now you got to have connections to where hopefully these connections are withstanding to continue going. Like Fear of God, he had his connections. He worked at, I think he worked at one of the Gucci stores or something, and he built his connections, and that's how he built his business based on the quality and how he wanted everything to go. And he had money, and he was able to. A lot of it is money and connections that will
yeah.
get you somewhere.
So we just got to build those money connection of fashion and just staying with each other. You know, it's like even with that Kanye and Virgil. Speaking of Virgil, you know, R.I.P. Virgil, they had their little
Mhm.
falling out. You know, after a certain while. But I mean, I think Kanye is Kanye. He had a falling out with everybody. But you think that happens more than often with a lot of people?
I think it does, but it depends on how you came into the relationship. So who knows if
Yeah,
anybody stepped on toes along the way, or people just cared about that. Like that's when people kind of get selfish. So just gotta hope that you don't get selfish at the end of the day. I don't know.
that's real,
But
man. Money changes a lot. Money
yeah.
changes. I ain't gonna say it changes people. It changes yourself because you're gonna be who you're gonna be. But it does change the people around you, and it changes a lot of situations. With a certain amount of money, like going to jail and going to jail with going to jail broke and going to jail with money. You could definitely make some things work in those situations. And being in fashion
Mm,
with just saying the money and connections can definitely go and be better than going without. So you know, hopefully it,
yeah.
it works out. I definitely want to see that next, black brand that's just, just out there, that's just, um, that's prestigious, like you would say, like a Gucci or Louis Vuitton or something of that nature.
I hope so. I want to get somewhere up that level. I'm excited. I know what I want, and I hope I can get there. I've really put in the efforts, and I'm just trying to get there now
Oh
in
wow,
due time.
they yeah they spamming, man. These bots are going crazy in the in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure to go hit the like, subscribe, share button, hit that notification bell. We with Why the Brand, chopping it up with her, letting us know about all that hot fashion, putting us up on game on how she came up and everything like that. But right now, we're gonna get it into a little of what would you do. You already know what would you do. What would you do if you were in these scenarios, near them, anything? We just want to pick your brain, get a reaction. So, little what would you already know what it is. You already know what it is. Right now, what would you do? So why the brand? Have you ever seen somebody with just like, and you see them do some stuff and then be like, you're not going far. Or you're making silly ass decisions already at a young age. Already know you're not going far.
Well, when it comes to personalities, I can believe in anybody and find any talent towards somebody and what they're good at. But when it comes down to a business, depending on their work ethic, depending on the quality of the designs, or if they're even putting in any efforts and stuff like that, I can see if they're gonna make it far or if they're not, because there are people who really put in the effort to make the quality and make their merch be what they're trying to make it look like. And then there's people who kind of just half-ass it, just say, hey, this is the kind of, I just want these hoodies, but they don't even go buy the pieces all the time. Some people just do like the drop shipping and just creating stuff on Printify. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I feel like the lack of efforts is not there no more. You just want to make a buck out of something. You just want something quick and just say, hey, I hope you buy it. It's the passion behind it. Sometimes people don't have passion behind stuff anymore.
That's definitely
So I
definitely
can tell.
well, this person, you can tell they definitely got a lot of passion, but I don't know if it's in the right place right here. So we're gonna check this person out.
I mean,
they got passion, but I don't know where it's going. Let's see that one more time. Oh man,
I don't
she
know.
dropped that thing
The
so
passion
good.
got my attention. I don't
Yeah,
know how long she's gonna live.
yeah, I don't know how long that's going to last.
She might make it
Definitely.
far. It's just her lifeline. I don't know. That was kind of sketchy. Be kind of old to be acting like this. Don't do
Yeah, that's
that.
what I thought. It was a little kid, but I think it's more like a little teenager. You might be in the teen, like closer to something,
You look
It,
older than that.
see,
Oh,
yeah, I hope not. If you're doing stuff like that at over 18, just lock them up. All right, this
Lord, danger to society already.
danger to society. Well, this next person right here, like you said, you got to have passion. This person has passion. I don't think they got the execution right though on this one. So, let me know. Let me know what you think.
She don't believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment.
That looked like it hurt.
Oh man, I'm telling, if you're doing something when you're driving down the hill, I think you need to call traffic control or something wherever your nearest facility people to figure it out the traffic because I don't think they set up anything. No cone, you didn't set up a cone,
She
nothing.
don't believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment.
On a
That is
regular ass
crazy. If he
skateboard.
was in, he would have died if he was in Angeles Crest. I'm glad he was on wherever he was.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Because he would have been right, boom, right off. Ain't nobody getting you if you fall down on Angela's Crest. Yeah,
No,
you ain't being.
be done. Either you gonna get the cliff or you gonna get a car, and or the
Yeah, yeah,
bicycle people. Them bicycle people will dodge you. They just in the way half the time.
Yeah, man, I can't stand them bikes, especially ones that try to be in the lanes and shit. You in the you on a bike, damn it! Get out the turning lane. The fuck?
Like you're not going faster than me. Get out the way.
You're just in the way, guy. That goes for these people, man. These people like that, they remind me of this next lady that's about to be on there. They just hope for the best, but I don't think it's just going well for them, you know. And shout out to the people that made it out of 2022. And hopefully you didn't end like this young lady.
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ball game, but I had a blast. So thank you.
I don't think she had a blast at all. It don't look like you had a blast.
She got blasted for sure.
Ooh. I like how positive she was, though. Look, hold on.
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ball game, but I had a blast. So thank you.
Different ball game. You was playing a different sport, girl.
Yeah, poor girl got a concussion. She ain't thinking clearly.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't want to talk at all.
That's why she got her ass beat. She was thinking about baseball. She should have been thinking about boxing.
She wasn't thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, at all.
For her, girl.
Yeah, because the first time, whoever that, I don't even know who she fought, but the first time she would have hit me out, they'd been like, I got to quit, y'all. I'm done. She hit too hard. I thought this was for play. All right, this next clip, I'm just going to describe it as Waffle House. We're just going to go Waffle House.
Previously on X-Men.
Waffle House Squabble Squad. Around and find out.
Man, Waffle House is the battlegrounds, man. Hey, you seen the old girl with the chair, but people didn't even peep. She had a little skillet in her hand. She was out there getting busy.
I didn't even see the skillet. I just was proud of her that she caught the chair. I was like, wow.
Yeah, anybody that catch a chair after you throw it, you gotta apologize right after.
Right, you can't even say nothing. She should have went after her with the chair. Yeah. No.
You gotta tell she's probably the manager. She got to be the manager doing shit. She had to get promoted doing that. As soon as I would have seen that on camera, I'd have been like, "You are the captain now."
You know what I mean? It all started for everybody to go in. What happened? Like,
I mean, it'd be crazy at these late night 24-hour spots, though, man. But if I'm guessing in the interview process, they gotta ask them, "Do you got hands? Because you're gonna need them working here." Because motherfuckers gonna try you. We got a whole chick that could catch a chair when you throw it at her with a skillet in her head. So you're gonna have to have hands.
I don't understand. Man. I'm like, I just wanted to eat. That's all. The Waffle House is good. Don't mess them up.
Imagine if you just go in there just to pick up an order. You just walk in there, you be like, "Yo, I just came to get my food, man. I know they ain't got it ready." You see everybody going, you know they ain't got it ready. You just try to pick up them. Yeah, you just walk out, cancel the order, man. But this is what would you do, y'all, man. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff, man. We want to thank Why the Brand for coming in and stopping by, chopping it up with us, having a great convo, man. I appreciate you. Any shout outs before you leave?
Shout out to Moda Tendency. That's my photo page. Shout out to Get a Bag First. Shout out to, who are they? BOE, Business Over Everything. Shout out to Top Shelf. These are all my other, shout out to What the Fuck Chuck. These are all my other comrades in clothing business out in my area. And I just want to see everybody make it. And honestly, thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. Make sure you go check in, man. Whythebrand.com. Make sure you go hit that link in the description, in the description section, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share button, hit that notification bell. This is In Between Time. It can happen anytime, any place. You can catch up on this episode, rewatch this episode, and catch up on other episodes too. And we just want to thank you for stopping by, and and make sure y'all tune in and everything like that.
Thank you so much.
No problem, man. This is In Between Time, Street Team Worldwide. Till next time, you already know what it is.